All right, so get this. Arnold Schwarzenegger recently dropped some serious fitness wisdom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking building muscle, even when you're in a caloric deficit.
Yeah, okay.
You know, that whole eating less than you burn thing.
Right. So it's fascinating how he just casually mentioned this scientific study, and it turns out the results are pretty groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Not just some gym bro theory. This is legit science.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This study dives into the impact of essential amino acids.
EAs.
Those EAAs we always hear about, and how they can, like, supercharge muscle growth.
Mm-hmm.
But the kicker,
What's that?
they tested this on people actively trying to lose weight.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And the results, well, picture this. The group that got extra EAs in their protein shakes saw a 30% increase in protein synthesis, even with the calorie deficit.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like hitting the accelerator on muscle growth while you're leaning out.
Okay, I gotta admit, I'm already hooked. 30% faster muscle gain while cutting.
It's pretty impressive.
Let's unpack this. For starters, break it down for us. What exactly went down in this study?
Well, they took a group of dedicated folks who were committed to a caloric deficit.
Right.
Meaning they were eating less than they were burning each day.
Right.
Then they divided them into two groups.
Oh, yeah.
Both groups got a protein and carb shake after their workouts.
Got it.
But here's the twist.
Okay.
One group got a boost of extra EAAs in their shake, while the other got extra carbs.
Okay, so we've got our control group with the extra carbs and our EAA all-stars.
Exactly.
What happened next?
Well, the results were pretty remarkable, especially for the EAA group.
Uh-huh.
Not only did they experience that significant boost in protein synthesis, but they also packed on actual muscle mass.
Oh, wow.
We're not talking tiny gains either. They saw noticeable increases in muscle size.
That's awesome.
Even more impressive, they actually experienced less muscle breakdown compared to the carb group.
Hold on, so they built muscle and held on to more of what they already had, all while in a calorie deficit.
Yep.
This EAA thing is sounding like a secret weapon.
It's definitely a powerful tool in the fitness arsenal.
Yeah.
To really understand why it works so well, we need to delve into what EAAs actually are.
All right, hit me with the science. What are these magical EAAs, and why are they so crucial for building muscle?
Think of EAAs as the fundamental building blocks of protein.
Oh, yeah.
The essential ingredients your body needs to construct and repair muscle tissue. They're called essential because unlike some amino acids, your body can't just whip them up on its own.
Oh, I see.
You've got to get them from your diet.
So they're like the VIP nutrients, the ones that get ushered straight to the muscle building site.
Exactly.
No.
When you consume EAAs, you're essentially giving your muscles the raw materials they need to recover from workouts, repair any damage, and ultimately grow bigger and stronger.
Oh, wait.
In the context of this study, adding EAAs to the shakes essentially supercharged the muscle building process.
Right.
Even in a calorie deficit where resources are already limited.
This is making me rethink my whole post-workout routine. Yeah. So for someone like me, who's trying to lean out without sacrificing hard-earned muscle,
Yeah.
are you saying EAAs are the key?
They certainly play a critical role. What the study highlights is that building muscle isn't solely about calorie intake.
Okay.
It's also about providing your body with the right nutrients, the building blocks it needs to create that lean, sculpted physique.
Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. It's not just about eating less, it's about eating smart.
Right.
And this idea of providing those essential building blocks seems crucial, especially when you're intentionally restricting calories.
Precisely. And this brings us to another important piece of the puzzle, the emphasis on high-quality protein sources.
Now we're talking. Let's dive into the protein game. What makes a protein source high quality?
Okay.
And how does that connect back to EAAs?
A high-quality protein source is one that provides all 9 essential amino acids in sufficient amounts. Think of it like a complete toolkit for muscle building. You need all the right tools to get the job done efficiently.
So what are some examples of these like complete protein MVPs?
You're probably already familiar with many of them. Lean meats like chicken, beef, and fish, along with eggs and dairy products. These sources are packed with all the essential amino acids in the right ratios, giving your muscles exactly what they need to thrive.
That makes sense. But what about plant-based sources? I know a lot of people are going for more vegetarian or vegan options these days. Do those provide the full spectrum of EAAs?
That's a great question. While many plant-based protein sources are excellent, they might not always offer a complete amino acid profile on their own. For example, beans might be high in some EAAs, but lower in others, while rice might have the opposite.
So it's like they each have part of the puzzle, but not the whole picture.
Exactly. That's why it's crucial for those following plant-based diets to be mindful of combining different protein sources to ensure they're getting all 9 essential amino acids. Think rice and beans, lentil soup with whole grain bread, or quinoa salad with nuts and seeds.
That's super helpful. It sounds like a little planning goes a long way in making sure you're getting all the EAAs you need, regardless of your dietary preferences.
Absolutely. Now let's circle back to Arnold's advice about adding EAAs to a post-workout shake. Remember, timing is everything when it comes to muscle recovery and growth.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting for me. I'm always looking for ways to optimize my workouts, and I've heard so much about the importance of that post-workout window. So explain it to me like I'm a total newbie. Why is that time period so crucial?
After an intense workout, your muscles are like sponges ready to soak up nutrients to kickstart the repair and recovery process. By providing them with a readily available source of EAAs right after training, you're essentially giving them a head start on rebuilding and growing.
So we're talking about capitalizing on that post-workout window to maximize muscle protein synthesis, right?
Right.
Like striking while the iron is hot.
That's a great analogy. And this is where supplementing with EAAs can be particularly beneficial, especially if you're not able to have a full meal immediately after your workout.
Right.
A simple shake with EAAs can provide those crucial nutrients quickly and efficiently.
Okay, I'm sold on the EAA shake idea.
Yeah.
But let's not forget the bigger picture here. We're talking about building muscle and a calorie deficit, which seems counterintuitive to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So how does that whole process work? And what role does protein play in making it happen?
That's where Dr. Mike Israetel's quote comes into play. Remember, he emphasized the absolute importance of sufficient protein intake, especially when you're cutting calories.
Right. He said having enough protein intake is absolutely crucial to making sure that you are not losing muscle at the same time as you are fat.
Exactly. When you're in a calorie deficit, your body's looking for energy wherever it can get it. If you're not providing enough protein, it might start breaking down muscle tissue for fuel, which is the opposite of what we want.
So it's like our bodies become little energy scavengers, and if we don't give them enough protein, they'll go after our hard-earned muscle.
You got it. That's why maintaining a higher protein intake during a calorie deficit is so crucial. It signals to your body that it doesn't need to resort to muscle breakdown for energy, allowing you to preserve those gains while you're shedding fat.
Okay, this is all starting to click. We're talking about providing those essential building blocks through high-quality protein sources, strategically timing our intake, and keeping protein levels up to protect our muscles when we're cutting calories. But let's get down to brass tacks. What are some actionable steps our listeners can take to put all this knowledge into practice?
That's the million-dollar question, and I'm glad you asked. We can break it down into a few key areas. First and foremost, prioritize those high-quality protein sources we talked about.
So loading up on lean meats, eggs, dairy, all those complete protein superstars.
Precisely. Aim to include a good source of protein in each meal, and don't be afraid to experiment with the different options to keep things interesting.
That makes sense. But what about those of us who want to try incorporating EAAs into our routines, specifically in that post-workout window?
That's a great strategy. Adding a scoop of EAAs to your post-workout shake is a convenient and effective way to give your muscles that extra boost. It's like a targeted delivery system for those essential nutrients.
I love that, a targeted delivery system. It sounds so precise and efficient. But we can't forget the foundation of it all, the actual workouts that stimulate muscle growth.
Absolutely. None of this matters if you're not putting in the work. Consistent resistance training, the kind that challenges your muscles and pushes them to adapt, is non-negotiable for building muscle, regardless of your calorie intake.
So we're talking about hitting the weights, pushing ourselves, and creating that stimulus for growth. But I know from experience that recovery is just as important as the workouts themselves.
You're absolutely right. Muscles don't grow while you're lifting, they grow while you're resting and recovering. That's when all the magic happens.
So what does prioritizing recovery actually look like?
It's all about giving your body the time and resources it needs to rebuild and repair. That means getting enough sleep. Aim for 79 hours of quality shut-eye each night and incorporating rest days into your training schedule.
Sleep and rest days, the unsung heroes of muscle growth. Sometimes it's hard to resist the urge to go hard every day, but I'm learning that listening to your body is just as important as pushing it.
And don't underestimate the power of proper nutrition and hydration. Those play a crucial role in supporting recovery as well.
Speaking of hydration, that's something I've been focusing on more lately. What's the connection between staying hydrated and optimizing muscle growth?
Water is essential for countless bodily functions, including transporting nutrients to your muscles. Think of it like a well-oiled delivery system. If you're dehydrated, those nutrients can't reach their destination efficiently, which can hinder muscle recovery and growth.
So we're talking about like eating enough protein, timing it right, lifting heavy and resting up. It's like a holistic approach to muscle building.
Exactly. And you know what? It's exciting to think that if we can optimize muscle growth in a calorie deficit, what other rules can we bend or rewrite with the right knowledge?
Whoa, that's a thought-provoking question. It's like we're unlocking secret levels in the fitness game.
It really is. This study on EAAs is just one example of how science is constantly evolving our understanding of what our bodies are capable of, what other hidden levers are out there waiting to be pulled, what other long-held beliefs might we need to re-examine.
Yeah, I'm starting to see things in a whole new light. Building muscle isn't just about brute force, it's about strategy timing and providing those essential building blocks. It's about working smarter, not just harder.
Precisely. And that's what makes this field so fascinating. There's always more to learn, more to explore, and more potential to unlock.
This has been an incredible deep dive. We started with Arnold's simple tip, and it's opened up a whole world of understanding about EAA's protein and the science of building muscle, even when you're trying to lose weight.
It all comes down to questioning assumptions, seeking out the science, and then applying that knowledge in a way that works for you and your goals.
So for anyone listening, remember that building muscle isn't just about hitting the gym hard. It's also about fueling your body with the right nutrients, especially those all-important EAAs.
And never stop exploring, never stop learning. The world of fitness is constantly evolving, and who knows what incredible transformations you might unlock along the way.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the science of muscle building. Until next time, keep pushing those boundaries, and remember, knowledge is power.